The concept of an Assassin's Creed 1 remake has been swirling through the community for years at this point. Even though when you consider the age of most games that get remade, the original Assassin's Creed is not even that old, although some games now are being remade very quickly. But with remakes becoming ever more popular and common, it was only a matter of time before Ubisoft jumped on the trend with its biggest IP in Assassin's Creed. Now last year we got the inside report from Kotaku letting us know there is a Black Flag remake in development, which people were conflicted about because the original Assassin's Creed is older and arguably more deserving of a remake, especially when you consider how well Black Flag still holds up. And then I believe it was 4 or 5 months ago when we got the leak from Insider Gaming that there was another Assassin's Creed remake that wasn't Black Flag in development at Ubisoft. And while it was never directly stated that it was an AC1 remake, realistically, what else could it be? They're not remaking Unity, I'll tell you that much. The only other real possibility to me would have been Assassin's Creed 2, but it would still make far more logical sense to do the original game first. I wouldn't be surprised if the remakes do well, they'll do an eventual Assassin's Creed 2 remake, especially with how popular Ezio still is, but it's still a very high likelihood that this other remake was AC1. And just last week, the Ubisoft CEO himself confirmed in an interview that there are multiple Assassin's Creed remakes in development. He outright confirmed it himself, which is a bit surprising, especially since he wasn't even asked about it. He went out of his way to confirm these remakes. But this tells us that the leaks we were getting were accurate. I assume one of the remakes is obviously the Black Flag one, and the other has to be AC1. Maybe AC2, but again that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Or maybe all three are being remade. All he said was remakes, he didn't put a specific number to it, but it's safe to assume one is Black Flag, and the other I'd be very confident is AC1. I remember back around the celebration for AC1's 15-year anniversary, there was a lot of speculation about an AC1 remake. They made a slightly remastered version of the cinematic trailer, they changed the title of it to include the tagline, a Ubisoft original, which they only do for new games, so that was pretty interesting. So maybe they've been working on that remake since then, or at least in the concept stages of it or something, or maybe we just all misread the situation. But anyways, knowing there's a potential AC1 remake on the horizon, again, I don't want to start screaming from the rooftops until an official announcement, but it seems very likely. And the AC1 remake was inevitable anyway. There was no doubt in my mind Ubisoft would eventually remake this game. The real question was really when. An Assassin's Creed 1 remake, for me, comes with so much excitement. Like, that'd probably be the most exciting announcement I could hear for an AC game. But with all that excitement also comes so much concern and skepticism. Because I think the real question is modern Ubisoft capable of doing this classic justice? You know, they're not like Capcom or Square Enix with a good reputation for remakes. They haven't even put out a remake yet, and they've had major development troubles with both Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time and the Splinter Cell remakes. So there is a very big part of me that would be worried about what they might do with an AC1 remake, because I'm not entirely sure they'll know what exactly made the first AC game so good and special. It's not like any of the original creators who worked on the game are still there. Patrice Désilets isn't going to come back to develop it, as cool as that would be. It's not going to happen. They're not on good terms, and he's running his own successful studio now. So whatever team may work on the AC1 remake, I hope they take time to truly understand what made it such a great game, and ideally what a remake should do as well is address and solve the weaknesses of the original. This also makes me wonder though, what studio would be in charge of developing this remake? It could very well be Ubisoft Bordeaux, the creators of Mirage. After all, a lot of what they did in Mirage was meant to be an homage to the original game, and they've clearly shown an affinity for making the smaller, more stealth-focused games of old in the series. And on top of all that, we just found out recently that they're starting development on a new AC game that kind of aligns well with the timing of when we heard there was another AC remake that wasn't Black Flag's. So it could very well be Ubisoft Bordeaux. They even originally wanted to set Mirage in Jerusalem like AC1 before settling on Baghdad. The only thing that makes me a little skeptical of this remake being headed up by Bordeaux is when Steven Boudon, Mirage's creative director, said the team wanted to create their own lore and characters for their next game. They wanted to do something new, as obviously with Mirage they didn't create Basim, he was the invention of Ubisoft Montreal. So an AC1 remake probably wouldn't fulfill that wish, but I don't know. The other obvious studio to work on it would be Montreal, but Montreal 3, the Origins, Black Flag, and Valhalla team are working on codename Hexe. As far as we know, Ubisoft Singapore is developing the Black Flag remake, but it's unclear if they're only working on the naval aspect of the game like the original, while another Montreal studio develops the rest of Black Flag. I'm not sure. On top of that, Montreal is also developing the Sands of Time remake, so I'm not sure if they would even have a team available for an AC1 remake. I highly doubt it's Quebec making it, that just wouldn't make sense for the type of games they make. If they are, I think I'll throw my monitor out the window, so I guess that really only leaves another Montreal studio or Bordeaux. So we'll see what happens with that. This is also all at least years away. In fact, if there was a most ideal time to release an AC1 remake, it would be 2027, the 20-year anniversary of the original game. That would be smart timing, but I'm not sure if this would come before the Black Flag remake. It's not like we know when exactly these would have started development, so I'm not going to spend too much time trying to speculate, but I do want to spend a little bit of time talking about what an AC1 remake could look like. I think just the idea of seeing Altair in modern graphics already gets me really excited, but like I said, so much concern and worry would come with that as well. Will the remake have parkour depth and design on par with the original? Will it have that stealth-focused approach? Will it be able to do all the characters justice and keep the tone and plot faithful to the original? How are they going to go about modernizing the mission design? What would the modern day with Desmond look like? Are they going to add more to the story to pad out the game's runtime a bit, as the original game is quite short? They have to get a lot right. There would be a lot more pressure and expectation on this game than any new Assassin's Creed title, because people love this game, they grew up on this game, and they'd have the original to directly compare it to. So is current Ubisoft capable of doing this? Or are we just going to see mechanics and gameplay from the new games just pasted onto Masyaf Castle and all the cities with new graphics and all that? Who knows? I suppose if there was a team I trusted the most with this remake, it would probably be Bordeaux, but whatever studio it is, I'm just really hoping they do it justice, as a remake will likely be the first time experiencing this game for quite a few people, especially since the original isn't very accessible anymore. I didn't even realize it's not even available on the PS4 or PS5. So if they're not going to remaster or do a re-release for modern systems, then the remake may be a lot of people's first time experiencing this game. It's important that it's faithful and of high quality for those people, and for those who have loved the original game since 2007 onwards. So we'll see what happens, I suppose. Ubisoft really owes a lot of their success to Patrice Désilets. They're going to be remaking 2 of his games with AC1 and Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. But let me know how you guys are feeling about this in the comments, and as always, if you enjoyed, I'd appreciate it if you'd leave a like, and consider subscribing if you're new, and other than that, thanks for watching, and have a great day, Assassins.